Yeah, it's because DeFi is all about the whole yielding loops. You yield this token, stake that token, yield that token. So it's like it's really cool to be able to have our LPs migrate to a platform that is more friendly to our community and reward our community with your native token, but then they can also be rewarded on our platform like they are already for providing liquidity, because that's how our system works. So essentially, we're essentially a tomb fork, or you would be better known as like a seniorage protocol, essentially, where our Grape token is pegged to MIM. So essentially, Grape is almost a stable coin in a sense, in that it's pegged to MIM, however algorithmically. So the protocol adjusts the supply of MIM based on its peg price. So if it's above the price of 1 MIM, it will continually inflate the supply to bring it back down to 1 MIM. If it's below 1 MIM, it will stop inflating the supply, and it will allow purchasing of bonds for your Grape to essentially burn that supply of Grape and allow the demand to catch up to the supply and then bring it back up to on peg. Because it's a algorithmic stablecoin and it's not collateralized, it will fluctuate around the peg. But the benefit, obviously, is that you don't have to lock up collateral to create the token. You don't have to lock up collateral to essentially have a stablecoin-esque coin, like you do with MIM. You have to lock up collateral to create it. DAI, you have to lock up capital to create it, and other stablecoins like USDC and whatnot. They're all centrally managed. So it's a different model. It has its positives. It has its positives and its drawbacks, like everything does. But we, we've got a reasonable. We've been around on AVAX for about, I think, 3-4 months now, and we've grown pretty well in that time from quite a small community to a decent sized, very strong community that are very aware, very educated on the best strategies for the health of the protocol. Um, from an outsider's perspective, sometimes a tomb fork or a seniorage protocol can be a little bit complex because there's quite a few moving parts. You have our farm, you have the boardroom, which is essentially where stakers get seniorage rights for the newly minted Grape token or the peg token. And there's different strategies depending on technically the peg price and how far it is above 1 MIM or below 1 MIM to kind of make sure it's around that 1 MIM price, and then essentially being used can then be used as a stablecoin. So we launched the original algorithmic stablecoin about 3 months ago, and we've introduced a few different new pools, new lock staking pools, to increase yields for our stakers, to kind of loop in rewards as well. And this quarter we'll be introducing our lending and borrowing platform for these tokens as well, so that Grape can essentially be used, can have some actual utility as a stable coin, like they do in, like, essentially stable coins are used as lending and borrowing quite often, and as payments, obviously. But yeah, in saying that, it's really good to be working with an awesome new DEX on AVAX. I think there's not enough on AVAX. As I said before, only Trader Joe is the main one, and you could say Pangolin, but it's really cool to have a DEX that looks out for the community is the whole thing, because this DeFi is all about the community and how the community can work together to, ensure the protocol grows and maintains its health, and morphs into something that's essentially community governed, because the community are the users. So if they are involved, they help provide a product that they like to use, and that's kind of the whole idea here in DeFi.
Absolutely. Jacob,
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Go
yeah, I'll
on, sorry,
probably just
Brian.
throw it back to you. I mean, I'll just end it with kind of, just so everyone knows, when we meet with partners and what we're looking for is really just, somebody like LB who sees the bigger vision of DeFi and what the space can be. They have a vision of where they want to go, innovation of projects down the road, how it can be incorporated with what we're doing, and kind of where we're headed as well as a DEX, to kind of just, as the saying goes, kind of all boats rise together. That's really what we're looking for in partnerships, because like we said in the last AMA, I mean, anybody can list on a DEX, but when
Mm.
we partner with people, we're looking for specific things, to kind of grow the community and kind of always looking out after our community, because at the end of the day, it is everybody's DEX. So I'll throw it back to you, Jacob, and thank you for that, LB.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for
LB,
having.
thank you so much for coming up on the stage and talking to our audience and our community. We really appreciate that, and we're all absolutely chuffed to be working with you, and can't wait to, for lack of a better
Yeah,
word,
likewise.
raise a glass and enjoy the launch together. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
What
keen.
what is your wine drink of preference? Are you a wine man? You got to be, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. I'm in Australia, so we have a reasonably decent wine. Uh, we have a few wine regions here, actually. More of a red wine.
Yeah.
I like a good Merlot, a good Sauvignon Blanc. You know,
Shiraz.
uh, Shiraz, yeah, here and there. Like, it all depends on the food, I guess, what you're gonna eat. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've had a few comments in the chat as well. People putting whether they're red or white wine. So yeah, well, I
Yeah.
suppose we'll find. Dan, I'll get our lead mod Dan to give the definitive answer whether it's red or white wine at the end. Who knows? But no, thank you so much, LB. Really appreciate your time, and this stage is always yours. If you ever want it, just get in contact, and yeah, we'd love to come over and talk to your community as well.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll organize something. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me up, guys.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. I think Dan will let you down off the stage then, LB, and yeah, we'll speak soon. Take care.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Okie dokie. So that was cool, wasn't it? It's great to speak to people from these projects that we're partnering with and get that inside information. And yeah, Brian, thanks so much for talking through that as well. You know how much work you and Dan have been putting in on these partnerships, and I can't wait to announce what we've got to come and what we're doing now. It's so exciting. It's such a cool place to be in. So, but with that said, let's move on to pre-launch. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we don't have Dale. So Lee or Brian, are you happy to step in for
Yeah,
Dale? Because I'll explain. I'll explain actually, because you may have seen Dale was on stage and he's left. Unfortunately, he's not feeling very well, and he just didn't feel like he was, he was going to deliver information best in the state that he was in. So we've told him he's best off just sitting on the sidelines and resting up for now. So Lee, if you're happy to champion launch price, I'd appreciate that.
absolutely. I'm more than happy to cover in Dale's absence due to sickness and hopefully get a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
So basically, we're going to talk about pre-launch as a whole, right? We're going to talk about the launch price, the initial listings, the initial farms, the long-term liquidity growth. Dale was going to cover that, but I'll probably ask Brian to cover that because I know those two have been working closely. and then we'll go on to the rest of it there afterwards, right? So let's talk about launch price, which everybody's been talking about. Let's say it's a hot topic within our community. It's been something that was fixed in our mind, because what we wanted to find really is, because we had 3 tiers of buyers within our pre-sale at 3 different prices, we wanted to be fair. But what we did on the educational part of our AMA we discussed the other day is that a lot of farm tokens lose 85 to 90% of their value on launch. And obviously, because we're a new DEX as well, we need to protect our liquidity. So we're not just going to go on there and bang $1 million worth of liquidity on launch straight off of the bat. So everything, there's a reason for it, based on the long-term view and sustainability of POPs as a token. So what we did, the average sale price on the pre-sale was about, I think it, correct me if I'm wrong, it was around about 23 cents, okay? And roughly, don't quote me on the exact things, but it's around about 23 cents. And we wanted to give people the option to take some profits, but really we want to encourage our community to kind of utilise the POPs token to actually earn more POPs, and then lock it away. And with the products that we've got coming up down the line as well, we want them to use those as well to really make their assets work for them. So what we decided to do, we're pitching it, and we're starting at a 25 cents launch price on launch, and based on all the studies that we've done on the market, and this has taken probably 2 weeks of research and deliberation, and we finally arrived at that. The reason we took this choice over other prices, and I won't disclose what the other prices were, which were discussed on the table, but this option gave us the flexibility to start in with more liquidity than what we could have done at a higher price. Because the last thing we want to be done is get our liquidity bank run at an early stage, because that'll have a detrimental effect on us platform and our token, right? So, and we don't want to, we're going on about obviously airdropping tokens to the Grape community, right? And as well as we'll be doing Incentivize farms with other community members. The last thing we want to do is kind of have our price crashed on our liquidity dried up on a token that we're handing out as a reward token to other communities, right? So the idea is to turn it into an inflationary environment. Eventually, we give the governance to the community, and also we build significant value in the POPs token. So when people are actually earning it as reward, it means something, and it's something that you want to hold. So that's the reason we've decided strategically to go into this.
Yeah, I think that really explains where that pricing's coming from, Lee. And you know, I feel that the community will understand that. And actually, from what we see of our community, that's what they want. They want to utilize this token, and make the most of it. It's not about a quick buck, making a quick buck off of the P-pop. So, I think, yeah.
Just something to add to that as well, Jacob. Is basically obviously this is a project that has been basically created for the love of the community, and we want to collaborate with other good communities, so we all kind of profit from it, right? And I just want to make it very clear that basically the people who we gave access to this are obviously community members with an invested interest of the success of Swapsicle. So in essence, if people are dumping on their own project, then it's I don't think for me that would be something that I would do myself, because obviously I want to see the DEX and the POPs token thrive. So Me personally, I would look to utilise the value, which in the long run would hopefully pay off again as an investment, but obviously not financial advice. But I would advise utilising an asset rather than just being short-sighted and selling it in the meantime.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one thing to that is, when we say launch price, everyone needs to understand that that's just what it's coming out as. The same day, it could trade any direction it wants. So when you're talking about a launch price, and even if we came out here and said it's a $2, within minutes, hours, it could be right down at the 25 cents. So what people need to understand is when you're talking from a liquidity perspective, a lot of it is our liquidity, but a lot of it also is community liquidity. You don't want to run on your liquidity, because then therefore the exchange itself, the DEX, doesn't function the way that it should. So I don't think anybody should really get hung up on the listing price itself, because the community will dictate everything from that moment on. It's just a list price. It has nothing to do with anything other than allowing the people who, as soon as the exchange goes live, those people who were going to say dump on people, we're going to do it anyways. That's not what we're about. So I don't want to say we're apologizing if that upsets people who are looking to kind of dump on people, but that's not what we're here for. Everybody knows we're fully doxxed and our reputations are on the line. So we hold that to a very high standard. So yeah, we may be doing things a little differently, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate that and kind of put some people's minds at ease. However they feel about the initial list price, that's all it is the initial list price.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Brian. Actually, speaking of our communities and the best thing for our community, and also talking about, wanting the best for other communities, let's talk about the initial listings. Lee, are you happy to to reel off the listings that we're going to go on launch with? Now, I appreciate there are bits being tied off in the background, but what are the definitive listings that we aim to launch with?
Right. Well, we're going to go light on initial listings because we want to protect the liquidity on these, right? And we want to be laser focused on these. So we're going to go live with 4 pairs, but we're going to ramp it up very quickly. So the 4 pairs that we're going to go live with are Pops AVAX, Pops MIMS, Grape MIM, and Fire AVAX. Okay. But quickly thereafterwards, we're going to have Wrapped AVAX USDC. We're going to have Wrapped AVAX MIM. We're going to have Wrapped Bitcoin, Wrapped AVAX. We're going to have PFI and AVAX as well, which basically brings me quite nicely onto the farms. And basically, just to explain to you guys the emission schedule on the farms and how it works. So basically, this is a smart contract, and we have to put tokens forth and preload them into a smart contract for the farms. And then basically, there's percentages of that farm that is split between the people who farm on those assets, right? And this is a breakdown of the farms that we'll be creating once the liquidity pairs are created. And these are going to be the percentages that are going to be distributed from the fees outwards. And just to start, just so everybody's aware, obviously there's a block every 2 seconds on the Avalanche network, and we're actually going to release 1.3 pops per block. Yeah, 1.3 blocks per pop. And we're actually going to load 20,498,400 pops into this smart contract. And basically, they're going to be split between the pairs I was suggesting earlier, which are Pops AVAX, Pops MIMS, AVAX USDC, AVAX MIM, Bitcoin AVAX, Grape MIM, and PFI AVAX. And then basically the percentages are as follows. So the biggest share is going to go to a Pops AVAX pool, which is 40% of the allocation of the rewards. Then there is the POPs MIMS that gets 10%. Then AVAX USDC gets 10%. AVAX MIM gets 10%. Bitcoin AVAX gets 10%. Grape MIM will get 10%. And PFI AVAX will get 10%. So these are the incentivized farms that we're going to go live with. But the list will not end there. So you guys know that obviously we partnered with Bigger Minds as well, but they're sorting their smart contracts as we speak. So that will be another incentivized farm once they're ready to go live. And we're in discussions with a lot of other partners at the moment. Brian, I know you can't give us any details of partners because they're not signed on the dotted line, but we're at the latter end of stage of negotiation. But can you give the community an idea and a feel for, let's say, the response you've been getting during the negotiation period with these guys?
Yeah, so basically when we're working with the different projects and everything like that, it's mostly, well, it's almost always mutually beneficial. We just have to sort of tie up the different agreements of how, because this is a deflationary asset and we're not going to be printing more tokens, like, and again, I'm not slamming other dexes, but it's just the way our tokenomics are, is that we aren't dealing with basically an unlimited amount of tokens. So we need to be very strategic in, you know, what type of partnerships we're bringing on, how long those smart contracts are going to be. Are we going to incentivize the farms? Obviously, with the Grape deal, the reason we did that deal the way we did was because they couldn't get farms anywhere because their LP token needed to be on the Grape platform as a tomb fork. So the way that whole deal came together rather smoothly was because there was not a lot of movement that needed to occur because it was, again, going to be a no-brainer for them, a no-brainer for us. They're now earning basically just for bringing liquidity over. So as far as, you know, I can't get obviously into the details of each partnership, but we are working with multiples and obviously lining up all the cross-chain stuff when we get that launched and everything like that. But I would say for now, we're probably pretty happy. Possibly one or two more Avalanche natives partnerships that we're looking to kind of tie up, you know, right after we launch or so. But then really diving into the cross-chain stuff that we've been working with people on, because we know how that'll just, you know, have that synergistic effect again within the community of their, you know, once they understand our tokenomics and our community gets introduced to how they do things, I really think that it's going to, you know, just it, like I keep saying no brainer, but I mean it really is when you understand how it benefits to be, you know, exchanging on a DEX that basically is giving everything back to you plus plus. You know, whether that's in the form of the trading fees, whether that's if you're invested in PCC, whether that's if you're staking, you know, POPs tokens in the ice cream van, just having that constant loop of passive income and understanding that because we have that deflationary asset, it allows us to open up more doors more quickly. See if you can follow me here, but basically because you have the deflationary asset, you know, without giving too much away, it can get us into, you know, other, you know, things like lending and borrowing and real world use case for, you know, tokens and stuff like that. So I'll kind of stop there before I get into any more. But yeah, I mean that's really what we're looking for. If you guys, you know, hear of any projects, my DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a friend request. I'm always down to, you know, Zoom meeting with anybody. That's pretty much what I do all day, every day, is just meeting with different projects. Obviously, you guys should know up front that any project that you bring to us, if a partnership is going to be in the discussion, somebody from their team will need to be doxxed. You know, our legal team and everything like that requires it. We have NDAs, we have, you know, partnership contracts, just like a traditional business would. So just we're not looking to just kind of throw anybody and everything together, even though it does make sense for everyone to pretty much be on our decks if they're, you know, any type of yield aggregator, anything. Anything involved with staking, it's just they're going to want to be a part of Swapsicle. So, and we know that going forward. Um, so we're picking and choosing, but I just want you guys to know that because you are part of the community and that's what we're all about, is feel free to bring me projects, say, hey, take a look at this. What do you think about their tokenomics? Even if you guys just want to talk about the projects, we're always willing to listen and see if we can make something work. So yeah, that's pretty much kind of all I got there. If Jacob, you want to take it back?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you very much. I think that really kind of ties over as well with part of your business development strategy. I don't know if you want to elaborate if there's anything you kind of missed out on there, but it kind of feels like you kind of was kind of lent into that. I know Lee's got a piece.
Yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? Yeah, I mean, I just to, I guess, finish up on that. It's just I honestly I think I covered everything. It's just, bring ideas, what you guys have. We're willing to listen to it all. And like I said, I mean, I know we've kind of been, well, I know we've been super busy the past couple of weeks, so we've not been as active as we'd like to. But shout out to our mods in the Discord. You guys have been doing a fantastic job of kind of keeping everyone in the loop. There's updated frequently asked questions in there. Make sure you guys check those out. But just our whole thing is just making sure that you guys know that we're out there working for you. I mean, we are as part of DeFi just as you guys are. We just happen to be a bunch of guys in DeFi that came together and saw something that was missing in the DeFi space to legitimize it. So I think that's where we saw an opportunity to not just capitalize, for ourselves or anything like that, but we understand the passive income, we understand the community aspect, and that the table's big enough for all of us to eat at. So um, that's our whole motto. That's everything we're about. So I don't ever want you guys to feel like you can't come to us with ideas and projects. If you guys, even better, if you have a contact over at a project already, because we don't want to seem salesy. We know what we're creating and we know how valuable it'll be. So we don't want to beg for these partnerships by any means. I mean, people will literally be knocking on our door once we launch, which kind of leads me into the only other thing I want to touch on. Sorry, Jacob, was kind of the marketing will ramp up, guys. I know some people, I've seen it in the Discord of, are you guys gonna market more, everything like that. We just want to put out the best product, make sure we're prepared, give you guys, a product that you can be proud of and everything like that. So we will, the marketing is definitely all hands on deck and we're going to have it. We just don't want to point a bunch of people to a DEX that isn't live and just hundreds of questions of when launch and stuff like that. So trust me, once this thing launches, I mean, there will be people in projects coming to us left and right to be like, how do we get a part of your deflationary token? Because it's basically what we're doing right now, plus, plus, plus. So just want to touch on that a little bit. But yeah, now I'll throw it back to you, Jacob. I think I covered everything that I had written down for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I won't reiterate. I mean, the marketing it will be underway, and you will see more of Swapsicle flying about all over the World Wide Web. It's just exactly as you stated, Brian. It's something that's to come. Right now, we're focused on giving you guys the right tools to ensure that you can get the most out of this DEX. That comes with the educational content that we've been working on and releasing. And it kind of segues onto that actually. We do have an updated step-by-step doc that we are going to drop. We've just had the copywriters just reading through and just making sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So really looking forward to sharing that with you and hearing your feedback. So can't wait for that. But actually, I know we've got Tom up on stage. We also have Joe. I just wanted to ask you, Tom, what are you most excited about for launch? And yeah, what are you most excited about, Tom?
I can't wait to just start getting all of our partnerships launched. To be honest, there's so much stuff in the pipeline that we obviously haven't spoken about yet. I can't wait for all of the utilities to get going. And obviously, there's so much other stuff in the pipeline as well around the platform. Like we've got our office being finished this week. So yeah, there's just so much coming together for the Swapsicle team. And yeah, there's just so much more to come over the next few weeks. Obviously, with launch being imminent, yeah, there's just so much more to come, guys. So please stay tuned and hold tight.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, just some inside scoop as well. We've been actually designing our office in London, and we can't wait to open up the doors. And any of you guys that are in London that fancy popping in for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, you're more than welcome. Joe, our CFO, is on. Joe, I'm going to put the same question to you. Actually, what are you most excited about? And also, is there anything else you want to elaborate on? I know in the chat there's been a lot of talk over launch price, Joe. I don't know if you want to kind of come in and come up on stage and speak about that.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. I guess similar to Tom, really, I'm just excited to get going. I think we've all been talking about this for a long time. I know it's been in Lee and Alan's mind for even longer. So to really be now in the place where we're so close to launch, that's what excites me the most. It's just being able to get out there and deliver what I think is going to be one of the best products that's ever going to hit the crypto market, and I believe that, which is why I'm involved. I wouldn't be involved if I didn't believe that. So that's what I'm most excited about. I do just want to touch on the launch price if I can, from a financial perspective. I've seen in the chat there is there are comments and maybe concerns might be the right word to use for the launch price, but we're looking at this from a completely different perspective to what the majority of crypto projects are looking at it from. We're looking at this from a business first perspective and a sustainable project. And a lot of people will tell you that their project is sustainable, their business model works, this, that, and the other. But actually, how much detail have they gone into the numbers? At the top of this tree, Tom and I being CEO and CFO, we're both qualified accountants. What we do is we run numbers and we run numbers to make sure that we've got a sustainable business. And ultimately, that's what we've done. So from our perspective, the launch price had to be sustainable. It had to make sure that nobody in our community was going to get, the rug pulled from under them on day one. We had to make sure that the price, we could try and maintain a stable price. And the only way to do that was to consider all the options. So that, ultimately, that's why we've come down. We've run a business model, and the business model has come up with this price being the best price to launch on. The other point I'll say, because there has been some comments around, why didn't you just, as a user, why not, skip the public sale and then just wait for launch price? There's nothing to say that anyone will be able to get in at a $25 price. So the opportunity to buy into a pre-sale is not necessarily to buy at a cheaper price. It's to get the ability to hold this token before anybody else. And that is, in a few years' time, people that have bought into this on the pre-sale will be looking back on thinking that was a priceless opportunity that I got. So, I don't want people to get, kind of disappointed or what have you with the launch price. The market will do what the market will do, as Brian said, once this is out there. We wanted to set a sustainable price on launch that we felt would make sure that this business model would be seen through. So that ultimately that's why we've done it. And the price will do what the price will do. The last thing is we the reason what we don't want is whales, right? We didn't want whales on the pre-sale, and we didn't want whales to then be dumping, if you like, on launch. So again, ultimately what this is doing is benefiting every investor that has come into our pre-sale. This launch price gives it the best possible opportunity to have a launch pad to grow. Coming in at a higher launch price was always going to be a risk of people dumping their tokens and the price going even lower than what 25 cents. The price, if we'd launched at $1, we could have closed that day at 10 cents for all we know. Do you know what I mean? So this for us was the most sustainable way of doing it, and therefore benefiting everybody: PCC members, Swapsicle members, everybody that's come and helped us on this journey. This was the best way for us to try and secure that. So yeah, I just wanted to add that from a financial kind of perspective, that this wasn't just a random figure plucked out of the air. This was crunching some numbers and getting to a point that we felt was sustainable.
Spot on, Joe. Thank you so much. Really well explained. And I just want to take this moment just to ask you guys if you've got any questions right now, or you want to think about your questions, now's the time, because we're going to have one more piece from Lee, and then we're going to open up to everyone And we can't wait to hear your questions. Lee, I know you've nudged me, you've DM'd me, and you wanna just elaborate a little bit more on the liquidity side of things. So I'm going to hand you the mic, and let us know.
Lovely, cheers, Jacob. Well, basically, what I wanted to do was kind of put people's minds at rest that basically we're going to take the bull by the horns, as to speak, in the liquidity game. And Dale and Brian have been working tirelessly behind the scenes regarding percentages, how much liquidity we're going to provide, which markets we're going to target, and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is do something that we call the vampire strategy. And what we're going to do is highly incentivize farms on some of the highest traded volume pairs within the Avalanche network, which is going to basically drive liquidity from other platforms, i.e. Trader Joe and Pangolin, because people are going to want to move their liquidity to a high yield bearing platform. So again, that's what we're looking to do. So if you can go onto Dex Screener, or you can go onto Coin Gecko or anything like that and have a look at the top traded pairs on the Avalanche network, and you will see the pairs. And if you look 1 to 20, they're going to be the pairs that we're going to target. And it will be the same when we go live on Ethereum, and it will be the same when we go live on Binance Smart Chain, that we will highly incentivize farms to encourage users and liquidity to come over to our platform. And just to let you guys know, I had a developer call today because I'm thinking about launch and I'm thinking about testing, but then I'm thinking, right, why we've got our foot to the pedal to the metal, as to speak. We're going into straight development straight away from this. So the idea is that basically we're always going to be constantly tweaking our UI and making it better. But our focus to launch with was more about functionality and security over how it would look. But you will gradually see that improve over the forthcoming months. Within a couple of months, say 8 to 12 weeks of going live, we will have an Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain DEX built into Swapsicle. And we're actually going to build our own bridge, which will enable that value of assets to go cross-chain into these other ecosystems and vice versa. Then, basically, the next on the roadmap is going to be the VPOPs, which is the governance, which I would say would probably come a month after that. Then we'll have the launchpad. I can't really give you the inner workings of the launchpad, but it's really unique. And I'm not going to talk too much, but let's say if you own something after staking something for a certain period of time, you'll get rewarded for doing so. And that's the only clue I'm going to give you. And then at the end of it, there's going to be a DeFi lending platform where you're going to be able to collateralize your stake positions in the ice cream van, as well as your LP positions if you don't want to go to the farms and you want to release capital, or you want to collateralize any other positions, then you can do so via our lending. The reason that's coming further down the line is because you need deep liquidity pools to be able to supply that such a service. But within a month of being live, you're going to see us ramp up the numbers of listings, and there's going to be projects that we don't even know of that are going to list, right? Because it's a decentralized exchange. After all, we can't control who lists, right? We can only control who we partner with. And then, just to give you guys a bit of inside information, we are actually talking to marketing companies at the moment, and we're in the process of allocating a substantial budget to marketing once we go live. But we will only engage and start the marketing, let's say, journey as soon as we go live, because we want to drive users to a platform that's in use, right? And it's live. And it'd be a waste of money to do it before so. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, and I'll pass the floor back to Jacob.
Thanks, Lee. Great. So it's that part of the AMA where we actually do an Ask Me Anything segment. So yeah, by all means, please raise your hand. We've got Dan on standby, ready to bring you on up. So if you've got any questions, no matter how small or big they are, please, this is the time now to come up and ask. And no question is silly. And if you want to come up and just say hi, by all means, you're welcome up. This is the part where no one puts their hand up and we all wrap up.
That means we did our job properly, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we'll give it a moment or so.
While we're waiting, can we talk? Because I hate silence. So
Yeah,
what we're going to do, we're going to also talk about what we're doing behind the scenes. So it isn't just Zoom calls, it isn't just DMing projects and having conversations behind the scenes. It's also networking events, building relationships within the industry. So like Tom has been to multiple, Joe's been to multiple events, I've been to events, as well as Jacob, as well as Dale, and we're kind of joining networking events. And we're continuing to try and build relationships within the ecosystem. So we don't only see a project for a project, we actually see the people behind the project because that's important for us. And we're constantly working ridiculous hours. And our idea is to build good, strong relationships to ensure the longevity of the platform. Brian, can you add on a little bit more about your business development strategy in terms of how you feel we're going to kind of find new partners? Do you feel that they're going to kind of come to us, or do you feel that you're going to have to reach out? What's your opinion?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say a little bit of both. The first thing I want to touch on is that apparently everyone's saying that you have to get the same mic setup I do. So check your front doorstep. I'll Amazon you one over there if you guys have that. Yeah, so I mean, when it comes to business development strategy stuff, guys, it's coming from all different angles. Obviously, we're well connected within different communities. We're not really looking for that, Schiller type that's just like, hey, come to Swapsicle. And, if it makes sense, yes, but that's not what we're looking to do because we keep harping on it, but it is reputations on the line. You guys are real people. We're real people. Some of you guys have met in person. So, we take that to heart, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on. So just know that anytime you see a partnership that we announce, we've done the vetting process, we've looked into them, we've met with them, we've treated it like a traditional business. So yeah, I mean, like Lee said, it's coming from different angles. I anticipate projects coming to us after launch once they see the products that we're working on, what we're doing, how we're doing things differently, how we're available to discuss partnerships, and how we're able to work different things. I mean, you just saw we put together like I said, I'm going to keep calling it a first of its kind dual incentivized airdrop mechanism because I've never seen it before. So stuff like that. I mean, there's things that we probably can't even think of right now that when we hop on these calls, we get to know these people, we get to know their projects. It gives us an opportunity to get the wheels turning. They go back to their team, we go back to our team. I mean, I'm not going to give specifics, but I would say we have about 5 to 10 projects right now that we're in discussions with, simply just at that stage of, hey, let's do something that no one else has done. Let's change the game. We're trying to set a precedent of how DeFi should be run. Yes, it's for the community, but it doesn't need to be these anonymous rugs where people are just trying to make a quick buck. I mean, when you understand compounding, when you understand passive income, launch price next week, none of that stuff matters because you understand the process of what everything is going after. You have to understand, I mean, I come from a liquidity background, so I understand that if the more people who are involved, it's not necessarily a Ponzi scheme, you know, a lot of people say, oh, Ponzi-nomics or whatever they want to call it, that I just got to get the next person in to buy this so then I can sell it for higher. Well, that's not what we're creating. We're creating sustainable products that people can eventually use in the real world, have benefits of holding tokens that give them real world benefits, collateralized loans, stuff like that, that has actual use case for holding something. It's not just how many of these things can I accumulate? You know, it's not a constant just, okay, well, I have this token, and if I stake it, then I earn more of this token. Well, why do you earn that token? You know, a lot of these people that are staking on some of these farms, they're not thinking in that mentality of just, well, if I accumulate more, then I can sell it to the next person who's willing to buy it. And that's not what we want to be. We want to be a DEX to where you think, okay, well, if I stake these, yeah, maybe I want to sell some, but then I have this opportunity to leverage into another product or another project that Swapsicle partnered with. They're whitelisting you know, they're coming out with a new product that then gives me a benefit to this. And you really start to spider web out this passive income, you know, world that allows you access into other projects because you're associated with Swapsicle. So that's really, if I were to give it a long-term vision or what we're striving to do, is change the game in that aspect of not just accumulating coins to say I have these coins and you don't. You know, it is a deflationary asset, but start thinking, why do I hold the tokens that I hold? Is it just to sell and you know, make 300%? Well, cool. That's a strategy, but that's not really what we're after. You know, we're after connecting, you know, making partnerships and giving you guys access to those projects that they have coming out. In the Grape, I can't stress this enough about the Grape Finance partnership of how it's now giving you access to everything that they have on their platform while still getting rewarded our token. So it's not just you have to be in the Grape community or you're in the Swapsicle community. You can be in both and you can earn in both. And you can, you know, help maintain that MIM stablecoin price, you know, peg, which ultimately helps the liquidity on Swapsicle, which helps the spreads and everything like that. So I just kind of want to touch on that. And just so it kind of, and I'm sure everybody here, for the most part, is that, you know, has that mentality of passive income. A lot of people are coming from PCC, Grape Finance. They understand that concept. But I think if you really hone into it, you'll see kind of why we're so excited and where this all can go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. Yep, very well said. We have got 3 people requesting to speak, so we'll do it in order in which they've raised their hands. We have Levi Blue. We're going to invite you up to speak if you want to just accept and come on up. Hi, Levi. Can you hear me?
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, very good. Thanks for bringing me up. So, quick question.
You got a team here to answer your questions, buddy, so we're ready.
Okay. If I want to participate and get the most incentives from all the projects you guys have, or you know, the staking, liquidity pools, and ice cream van, what do you guys suggest? And I know not financial advice, but if I want to go right from the beginning, you guys suggest throwing everything into the ice cream van and staking, getting S pops?
I can answer that if needed, Jacob.
Yeah, that's fine, Lee, if you want to go for that.
Right, okay, cool. So there's 2 processes you can go with your POPs token. So based on the percentages that I gave you at the moment, the greatest way of earning POPs and earning the best yield is via supplying POPs AVAX liquidity and then staking it in the farm, because you're getting a 40% share in that farm via the 20 odd million tokens that we're pre-allocating to that farm, right? So that's basically the highest rate of reward. However, it does come with its own risks, because you've got the price fluctuation of the POPs token, which can turn into impermanent loss, right? But that's only if you're kind of staking over a short period of time. Well, not staking, but farming over a short period of time. or supplying liquidity over a short period of time. But if you're looking at it as the long term and you back it and you back the POPs token, then you'll understand the tokenomics that we're trying to bring to market. If your risk appetite is don't really understand supply and liquidity and stuff like that, and you want something a little bit safer, but you're happy to stake it still and you still want to earn a return, then what you can do, you can go over to our ice cream van, which is one-side staking, where you can stake the POPs token, and then you'll be guaranteed a return of investment in terms of the POPs will then start to recruit kind of POPs within it. And then as soon as you unstake your position, you would then get released of the full POPs allocation that you've had. And that's a portion of the transactional fees. And that's how our DEX works, is that all the fees go back to you guys, the community. So like a lot of the other DEXs anyway, right? So it's just important for you understand that you don't just chase the APYs, you understand the risk associated with each kind of option.
Does that answer?
Okay.
Does that part answer your question, Levi?
It does. So if I'm a betting guy, throw it into the farm so I can get a 40% yield. But if I want the safe route, stick to the ice cream van, correct?
Absolutely.
Not 40% yield, but basically you get a 40% share on the initial launch of farms percentage. So just to explain again, we're pre-allocating over 20 million worth of tokens, and there's going to be 1.3 POPs per block. So basically, let's say that a rough estimate of 0.5 POPs per block are getting released to that POPs AVAX farm every 2 seconds, just to give you an idea. So basically, every minute, there's about 30 POPs getting released to that pool and that farm.
Okay, understood.
So,
yeah,
it's probably higher than 40%. That's my gut feeling.
got it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. That's all I got.
Absolutely, thank you, Levi. I would say also just keep an eye on those channels in the Discord. They're there to help, and as a community, we'll all be going through these early stages of the launch, and how liquidity is running. There'll be a lot of information on there to go off. So, I would say, keep an eye on that, and actually how to kind of step by step do the staking farming. We'll have a document that releases shortly on that, and I'm happy to share it in the Discord now, actually. So I'll be launching that in there for you guys. But thanks so much, Levi. I really appreciate your question.
All right. Thanks, guys. Great job. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Okay, Don Mingo. Spoke to you on Friday. Coming back up again. How are we doing, Don Mingo?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
We're good, thank you. Yep, we're all doing okay. So, what's your question?
Yeah. First of all, excited, super excited. I think that you guys are doing great. I think that you guys are coming with new types of tokenomics that I have never heard of it. So it's amazing. So I'm really excited to start. My only question, one of the questions that I have is I need to read this because I love strategy. So I need to see it in a Medium article or something like that, so I can fully see how I'm going to play this. Put right now, I want to put half in the liquidity pool, the other half into staking. But I need to read it and see the percentages and see what I can do. So are you guys going to put a Medium article out or something like that?
Jacob, you can answer that because you're the marketing department, mate.
I didn't catch the end of it. I apologise. I was uploading the document. Please reframe it.
So basically, sorry, Domingo, you asked the question again, Mike.
Oh, okay. So what I was asking is, I love strategy, and these tokenomics are unheard of. So I really love the whole tokenomics. So what I need is, I want to know if you guys are also going to put out some kind of a Medium article with all the percentages of certain farm and certain liquidity pools, so that people like us who are really excited to participate to see what kind of strategy we can do to get the best out of it.
if there's an appetite in the community, or and then absolutely we can do that. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. So, no, that's it.
Okie dokie.
Just to add to that, Domingo, basically, obviously, Jacob's working tirelessly in the background to do, let's say, a basic guide to doing this. Everybody understands it, because I'm always a believer in you should invest in something that you do not understand. So spend some time on obviously understanding it first, so you know what you're getting into before you get into it, right? And we will do everything within our marketing strategy over the forthcoming weeks and months to ensure that there's enough educational material surrounding our platform to hopefully make you guys comfortably enough to make let's say, an educated decision on where you want to park your capital. But from what you said, I think you're pretty switched on, more than you allude to. And the fact that you're splitting your investment strategy, that's very wise. It's similar to my investment strategy, but I've got a bit more of a risk tolerance, so I'm more weighted towards the farms than I am towards the staking. So my own, because I bought pre-sale like everybody else, because there is no founders tokens.
Are they
So
80-20, 80%, 20% in staking?
no, I'm going 70-30. I'm going 70-30 personally. That's my strategy. But that's my appetite, right? But yeah, it's not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, got it. One last question. I also in Phoenix Community Capital, and I got some fire. You can also stake fire. What's the percentage that you? Yeah, what's the percentage of staking in Swapsicle?
You can't stake fire in Swapsicle.
Oh, you cannot stake fire in Swapsicle.
No.
Oh, okay. No, it's cool.
It's a fair question. It's not something we've outright stated we're not doing, so I can see why you're asking, but it's not something we're supporting. So I completely understand that.
Okay, cool. No, thank you, man.
Not a problem. And just touching back on the content, it's all hands on deck at the moment. What with pre-launch and pre-sale, as we move into the offices and we get some time, we're actually going to have a creative hub in the office where we work and create on content, and actually getting an idea of some of the things that you guys would like. We will open up the forum to you guys and ask questions, and that will really guide what content we create. We want to make sure we're creating the content that you want to view. I know Dal was very big on this, and Lee's had some great ideas as well, and Tom. And we can't wait to get making that content for you guys. But I hope you can appreciate that the actual launch and pre-launch right now is just a main focus. But as time goes on, you will see more creative content from us, and we will hope to have that. Whether it's in the form of a YouTube series, a podcast, we're not too sure yet, and we're really working on how it's structured. Whether we'll have guests on, how that's all going to work. But it is in the background. It is something that we are talking about. So, yeah, understanding what you guys would love to see is going to be a huge part of that, because it's for you at the end of the day. It's for all of you guys that are in here now. So yeah, I can't wait to get cracking on that. I'm so excited about that. So, but thanks so much, Domingo. Really appreciate the question.
Yeah, man. And keep doing what you're doing. I love you guys for doing this. So pretty excited. I'm going back down.
Buddy. Appreciate that. Thanks so much for the love. We are going to bring up now Reliable Guy.
Hey.
Hey, Reliable Guy. How's it going?
Fucking awesome, guys. Psyched for this launch. One question only. Lee, leveraged yield farming.
Ooh.
When? I asked this on the first AMA.
Yeah. Talk to me. What do you want to know?
What is it still being discussed, or is it actually being worked on? And if it's being worked on, when could we expect it?
Leverage of. I'm gonna. You put me on the spot there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, it could possibly be on the roadmap, and I have not spoken to our developers or anybody about it at all. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And that's all I'm giving you.
Okay.
I think that these types of topics are ones that we're going to hear about, and I think if you want to hold us to account, we will kind of launch a roadmap rightly once once the DEX is launched, which is the main focus point. The DEX is working exactly right, everything's in place, all the cogs are turning correctly. I think we'll be in a position, Lee, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but we should be able to release a further roadmap.
Yeah, and what I want to allude to as well, guys, yeah, is that we're gonna have products that we're going to build within our roadmap, which is basically part of the Swapsicle brand. But the amount of partnership, project communication that I'm having on a daily basis of people who are wanting to work with us, that we can bring these products to you, the community as well, where we'll bring other products in partnership to the community via our developers, via our auditors, via our team, in partnership with other teams. So just to give you a bit of a clue, we've got probably not only the ETH DEX, the Binance Smart Chain DEX, the bridge, the governance, the loan platform, the launchpad. We've actually 80% developed another project that I'm not telling you guys about yet. And it's just going to come out of the blue, and we're going to drop it on you, and you're going to be like, "Oh, wow!" out of the blue. And we're not going to shout about it until it's done. And we've got 5 other projects that are about to start development as well. So let's say we're working very, very hard behind the scenes, and yield farming is definitely up there with one of the products that we're looking to bring to market.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on something with that, like Lee, too, like just so you guys can think in terms of what, when I was talking about not just accumulating pops to get more pops, but why you're accumulating that stuff. Let's just say, for instance, and I'm just using an broad example of your S pop or your V pop may mean something down the road, for having it staked. It then gives you opportunities to do other things. So if you guys can start thinking in those terms rather than just, well, if I accumulate more, pops, then I can then, and I'm not saying don't look at it just as a dollar value. It's always going to carry a dollar value, but think of it as more of a Willy Wonka's golden ticket, right? When you hold those, you're going to be holding rights to do certain things, almost like an NFT. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through the whole project and everything like that.
Or could actually be getting an NFT by using their tokens. I'm probably saying too much, but yeah, there's ways you can utilize your POPs token in the future that is going to be pretty goddamn cool. And again, all the rewards are going to go back to you, the community. No founders tokens, anything like that. All the rewards going back to you guys.
Absolutely. Cheers, Lee. Thank you, Reliable Guy, for your question. Appreciate it, dude. And thanks for coming up on stage.
Cheers, boys. Thanks.
Awesome. Brian, you just reminded me when you spoke then, you did allude earlier that we didn't have Amazon in the UK. We definitely have got Amazon in the UK, mate. I know we have a lot of this, what have you got in the USA and what have we got in the UK? Just to add, by the way, to any of the American audience, put butter in when you're making a sandwich, because you can't be having a sandwich that dry. I know you've got mayonnaise and everything, but you should be putting butter in your sandwiches, just to rule that off. Let's bring up
my horse and buggy, or is it like a car?
You see the way I tried to just bring up the next speaker, Brian, before you could come back? Like I then won the argument.
You did. You got me there.
Okie dokie. Right, let's bring up Baby Billy. Just as we're bringing up Baby Billy, guys, how long are you guys happy to stick on for questions? Should we look to wrap up after these next couple of questions? Are we all okay with that?
Next 10 minutes, is that right?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Baby Billy, welcome.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing?
We're all good, thank you. How are you?
Good, doing good. And I worked for Amazon for 5 years. Trust me, they are everywhere, everywhere. So I had a question. So my main I haven't researched you guys enough because my main focus has been Phoenix, obviously with the incoming cap. So I'm involved in multiple projects, but my main focus is just on Phoenix right now until after the cap, obviously. So just to get a little understanding of Swapsicle, like this is just a staking project, right? Like there's no compound and there's nothing like that, correct?
Let me give you a quick overview, Baby Billy. So basically, Trader Joe, right? Where you swap your fire for other tokens on Trader Joe, where we are another version of Trader Joe, but our own version that's been created for the community, by the community. We're going to distribute 15% of the transactional fees back to Phoenix Community Capital. But within that, we're going to incentivize the farms. So when people are actually coming to our platform and supplying liquidity, we're going to incentivize them highly by doing so. And if you hold the POPs token, you can actually come in and you can stake it one-sided to earn more POPs. And then there's going to be Ethereum DEX, Binance Smart Chain DEX, all plugged into this with our own bridge. And we're actually going to give a governance feature. So we're actually going to give the decision and the ownership over to the community once the liquidity is stable enough to do so. And then we're going to have a launch. We're going to have a launch pad, like crowdfunding as a service platform plugged into our platform, as well as a DeFi loan platform as well. Just to give you a quick overview of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely be doing some more research. I'm trying to get past this cap, and like that's so stressful as it is. And once that's over with, and then we will move on to V2, then everything. I'll just start researching more. Two more things. So, is there a minimum or maximum buy-in on launch day? And did you guys mention? I know that we're talking. I think it was Lee talking about the launch day. Do we know? Is that soon? Like next week soon, or?
Give you an idea. It's open market when we go launch, so you can buy however many tokens that you wish. At that point, it will be a free market. So the market will decide what the price is, and you can buy as much as you want, and you can sell as much as you want as well, right? We're looking to go live a week Friday, pending any huge issues that we don't foresee at the moment. But what we don't want to do, we don't want to promise that as our go live date, just in case something happens, but just to explain that that's what we're working towards.
All right, that's awesome. I appreciate it, guys. That's everything.
Thanks so much, Baby Billy. Appreciate it. Cool. We'll give it a minute or so, and if we don't have any more hands, we'll close out the AMA.
I'm never gonna live down the Amazon thing, so.
No, I don't think you will. If you guys have got Amazon. Here we go. I don't think we're gonna get any more hands. Right. If we're all happy, then we're gonna close it out. Any last words, Tom, before we close off the AMA?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming and listening. Obviously, we're very, very nearly there now, so I appreciate everyone holding tight, and you're not going to regret waiting. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome, thanks so much. The Level Up Your Crypto game has been dropped in the announcements page. Please have a look, please give it a like, and let us know what you think of it. And that document is an evergreen document, so we will continue to update it. And thanks so much for joining on. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Lee. And thank you, everyone here at the Swapsicle community. And we can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.